Hi guys, Tom here with Learn PDR Online, and in this video today I'm going to run through my top 5 favourite PDR tools. So let's take a look. So up first we have the Shane Jacks blending hammer. I've only got 2 blending hammers, but this is my go-to one so far. Really like just how light it is, just a small little design. And you've got a nice polished tip there. I've let mine go a little bit, so I need to polish it back up again. And then the sort of sharper tip on the back side of it. So this is a really useful tool, and I use it pretty much on every repair that I do, either just for knocking down some highs or switching it and then using it as a blending hammer. But it's really quite lightweight. It is quite small in terms of some of the blending hammers out there, so the face of it's quite small, and like with most tools, it's just a case of the technique of how you pick it up. But I like that it's quite light. It's got a really nice kind of bounce to it. So that is one of my favourite tools is the blending hammer, and this one's the Shane Jacks one. And then we have this Keco Knockdown. Now, I don't know what I did before having this really. I'd only had a couple of knockdowns, just the little nylon ones, and I used to kind of shave to get as sharp as tip as possible. And then found this at the MTE a couple of years back, and yeah, it's just great little tool for really kind of precision work. So it's got that, just a fine tip on there as well. Important to keep this nice and clean, unlike it is currently, but great little knockdown for really picking out those micro highs you get. Typically it's the highs that you're pissing in with the tool, so not necessarily the natural highs that occur. Most, I quite often use the root beer tap down, that's a very good one, and some of the other sort of generic plastic or nylon ones. But for the small little high spots you can occasionally piss in with your tooltip whilst removing a dent, this I find is brilliant, and it's my go-to knockdown for just taking out those micro highs. So that's it, the Keco Knockdown. I love these Keco dead center tabs. These are brilliant. I did do a video specifically on these, on a crease dent that I had on one of my customers' vehicles, and it just really picked it up well, exactly like it says, gets right in the center of that tab, right in the center of that dent, and it's just brilliant with the little robo lifter to pull them and lift them out. But having that, I'm not sure the design side of it, but the little line that runs through the middle, it's just absolutely perfect. The gangrene tabs that I use are brilliant. They've always been my go-to, but now when it comes to creases, I'm always picking up these. So these dead center Keco tabs for glue pulling, definitely up there in one of my favorite top 5 tools. Next up is this red Ratchet Reaper tool. Now this is a sharp tip tool, and it really is pretty sharp. And it's just great for picking out the kind of standard door dents really, but also depending on what access where you can get in, sometimes you can just pick out micro lows on most different panels, as long as you can get in and get behind it. But this is a relatively new tool for me, so still getting fairly used to it, and just going careful with that sharp tip. But for when it's for the times that I've been able to use it and get behind dents, it's really nice for bringing out dents nice and clean. So definitely takes a little bit of technique getting used to it between your like the standard kind of flat bars and some of the rounder tips for door bars. But this tool has now made it into my top 5. It's just personally one of my favourite little tools. If I can use it, it's a great tool to have. Next up is this little brace tool. Now I'm always amazed at just how often I can use this. This one is handed, and you just got that slight kind of angle there, and then almost like a flag tip on the end. But it's just a really thin, really kind of narrow brace tool, and I use it all the time. So really good tool to have, just for getting in those tiny little holes at the edges of door panels. I've managed to get in through the gaps between headlamps and wings on those kind of front wings, front fenders, and obviously getting into braces. So you have the brace bars in kind of bonnets, door panels, roofs. And just being able to get in through the little holes that they have in braces. Also it's quite good for the upper edges of door panels. So I can take off a weather strip, like the rubber strip running across by the top of the door. And usually there's some little holes in there for when you can't get your hook bar up high enough. You can normally take the weather strip off, use one of these little brace tools or something similar like a pick, and be able to get in through those tiny holes at the top. So a really good little tool to have in your toolkit, and like I say, I use it so often, I'm always surprised at just how many different places I can use it. So definitely made it into my top 5. So that's it for today's video. My top 5 favourite PDR tools at the moment. We've got the Shane Jacks blending hammer, the Keco 4mm metal tip knockdown, the Keco dead center glue tabs, little red Ratchet Reaper, and the Dentcraft 14-inch brace tool. So they're my top 5 tools that I'm going to all the time at the moment for my PDR tool bag, and just really find them useful. So great tools to have on board. But I'm Tom with Learn PDR Online. I hope you've enjoyed the video. As always, you can leave your comments below, get in contact with me, ask me any questions you may have. And as always, thank you for watching.